So the introduction video went through the multi-tool fairly quickly. So I want to take a closer look at the template builder in the multi-tool and show you how you can leverage this to get a lot of the work done for you. So start by clicking on multi-tool. Make sure you've activated it. I had the instructions for that a little earlier. Click on template builder. I'm going to skip the front page part right now. I'm going to focus on the templates. We'll look at the front page and the home page a little later. Now, I set one up for the module introduction page that I showed you on the earlier part of this. So I want to take a closer look at assignments, discussions, and quizzes. So I'm going to create an template assignment. Oh, I forgot to put a name for it. Well, we can edit that. So, and then I'm going to hit edit. Okay, and we'll call it sample assignment. So say, for example, you had a lab that had the same format every time you did it. Maybe you do it every other week. You could type up the instructions for that lab assignment, and that could get populated into your Canvas course whenever you needed it, and then you can simply go in and edit the specifics for each lab. And it may not be the entire instructions, but maybe the outline of them would get you enough of what you need. So I'm going to paste some text I've already done in here. All right, and I've got some just actually some general information about setting up assignment instructions. I will post this as a sample a little elsewhere in the module. But the other thing I want to do is I want to use good formatting practice. So I'm going to use header 3 style for each of these. I actually like to make it bold too, but but this is for accessibility purposes. So learning outcomes, assignment instructions, and submission instructions. I'm going to make each of those, like I said, header 3 is probably good. Header 4 would be okay. It's a little smaller. That's just got some other information. So whatever I put in this template is going to show up when I build the course out with the module tool. The other thing I can do, if all of my labs are 50 points, I could say 50 points. If I'm doing grade weights, I can assign them to a certain group. If I want it to show up as percentage instead or complete, incomplete, I can do that. I can set all of this up right here for this one template. Submission type, if I want it to be online and be a file upload, I can set that and do all of that. And then I hit save. Okay, and I've got a sample assignment template. I'm going to go back to the multi-tool. I'm going to go back to my template builder. Right, and you see down here now I have my sample assignment. I'm going to have a sample instructions, and this is another one, sample discussion, sorry. Most people have the same kind of general instructions for their discussion forums, and what changes is the prompt. So creating a template for that again can be another big time saver. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to click on that to edit it. I'm going to grab some text that I already set up. I'm going to do the same thing again with my headings. I don't know if you've been paying attention. I actually put the learning outcomes, and I like to do this directly with the assignment, because if the students are thinking about what they're going to learn, then hopefully that's going to get better results on the assignment. It also helps remind you of why they're doing this assignment, and you can make sure that whatever it is that you put as the actual meat of the assignment goes along with those learning outcomes. So that's a good way to do it. Get the instructions in there. Again, I had a prompt. The prompt would change. This isn't actually a prompt because you wouldn't use the same prompt for every discussion. I just put a placeholder there, and then I put instructions. And again, I will include this example in the module so that you can see you know, some examples of clear and meaningful instructions. All right, and then I can set this up so if I want always want the users to post before they see replies, I can do that. If I'm always going to grade it, I can do that. Maybe all of my discussions are worth 50 points. I can do that. I can add it to an assignment group if I want, and then I'll hit save, and I have my discussion template. And then I can go back to multi-tool. Template builder, we'll do one more. We're going to do a quiz, and this again, this is a very convenient way of setting up your quizzes. Okay, let's do end of unit quiz, we'll call it that, and we'll create the template. I'm going to edit that, and I'm going to come over here. Now, you can't do the questions. The questions have to be done individually, but you can paste them in here, put your quiz instructions in the quiz. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do my headers for that and spell them out nice and clear. Before the student starts the quiz, they should know exactly what it is they need to be doing. What is the quiz on? How many questions are there going to be? How much time do I have? Can I stop and start, or do I have to do it all in one sitting? When does it open? When does it close? Those pieces of information should all be right there out front. You don't want the students guessing on a quiz. You don't want them thinking, oh, I'm going to get a second chance, or oh, I have to do it all in one sitting, when that's not what you intended, or whatever. So be very, very clear with the instructions for the quiz. And again, you can set this up here. It's a graded quiz. If I want the time limit to always be my 25 minutes, we can set up when they can see the answers. All of those things can be set up in advance. Okay, so by putting some good, serious thought into how my assignments, quizzes, and discussions are going to go, I've gotten myself a long way towards building the course. Okay, obviously not all assignments are going to look exactly alike, and not all discussions or quizzes or anything like that, but most of the time the instructions are fairly similar, so you can save a lot of time by setting up these templates. And we will look in a minute about how to use these templates to build out your course.